Okay, there we go. So that's the whole issue here. So what we're going to do is we are going to, what is it called? We are going to allocate these other operating costs by using ABC costing towards each division. Therefore, we can allocate all of our costs correctly and really figure out if certain divisions are as profitable as we think they are, or maybe some divisions which we think are not very profitable are actually very profitable. Okay. So basically, they have a number of cost drivers they want us to use. And cost drivers are kind of a thing where this is how we allocate the cost. So for example, cost drivers can be labor hours, it can be machine hours, et cetera, et cetera. So we've seen labor hours and machine hours in previous problems for cost drivers. Usually we call it the allocated basis, but we also call it the cost driver. And here they tell us there's 5 activities which are being done in these other operating costs. And each of these activities has a different cost driver. The first one is number of customer purchase orders, or yeah, that's a cost driver. Number of line items ordered by customers, number of store deliveries, number of cartons shipped, hours of recipe development. And by these cost drivers, we're going to count how many things they did to figure out the total cost. So we look down here, and the first thing they want to do is they want us to calculate the 2019 gross margin percentage of each of Mini-Hot's 3 major customer segments. So this part is kind of a review. So how do you think we would find the gross margin percentage?
For which one?
For each of the 3 divisions, or each division.
So for the key accounts, multi-location, and owners operated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gross margin percentage. Would it be the revenues divided, or the gross margin divided by the revenue?
Exactly. So you want to do that for
Okay.
each department.
Okay. So like, is there a specific way I should write this down, or is it just doing math?
Just doing math.
Okay.
If you want, you can write out the formula and be like, oh, GM over revenues equals GM percentage. You can do that if you want.
So would the first gross margin percentage for key accounts be 2.91%?
Yep.
Okay. The next one would be 4.76%.
Yep.
Okay. And then the next one would be 9.09%.
Exactly. So that's not too hard, right?
No.
So basically what these numbers are telling us is, that's how much these companies are making. So for every dollar key accounts is making, they are contributing 2.91 cents towards other operating costs, and eventually operating income, right? So these margins are pretty thin. Even owner operated, they're only making 9%, which isn't great, right?
Mhm.
But now we know these percentages, they're not truly accurate because other operating costs haven't been allocated towards each division. So our goal for this question is to allocate these costs correctly towards each division and then solve for a new GM percentage to really find out, are the percentages similar? Like what's really going on here? Is owner operator really that profitable? Is key accounts more profitable than we think? That's the questions we're trying to solve for here.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to minimize this. Let me see. Windows, workspace, reset essentials. I'm going to minimize this in the corner. There we go. And get my pen out again. And part 2 asks us to calculate the cost driver rates for each of the 5 activity areas. And that basically means, for orders processed, how much is each order costing? For line items ordered, how much does each line item cost? That is what they're really asking for here when they ask for the cost driver rates of each of the 5 activity areas. So how do we do this? It's actually pretty simple, right? Because they tell us how many orders are being done by each division, and they tell us the total cost of all of those orders. So all we got to do, for example, for orders processed, we write down orders processed. And it's going to be 160,000. It's going to be our top number. And then we're going to add up 280 plus 720 plus 3,000 in the bottom.
So 160,000 over 280 plus 720 plus 3,000.
And that gives us what?
Let me calculate that. $40.
4?
40.
40. Okay, awesome. So now what I want you to do is do this for each activity, and I'll just be doing it with you. Okay.
Okay. So like for the next one, for the line items ordered, you do 120,000 over 3,900 plus 8,640 plus 30,000.
Wait, what do you say?
So for the next one, I'm looking at it here, the line items ordered,
Yeah.
you do 127,680 on top, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And now I think I get what to do.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so for the second one, for the line items ordered, I got $3.
Yep.
Okay. For the deliveries made, I got 47.97.
Yep,
Would you round that or would you just keep it like that?
I would keep it like that.
Okay,
I would round to near a cent. If you have to.
okay. Then the last one I got 1.
You got one?
Yeah,
Yep.
or
There's
for
one
boxes
more.
shipped. Yeah, for boxes shipped. That's what I meant. 16.
Okay, cool. And as you can see, all these costs, if we add all these costs up, it actually equals other operating costs. So all these activities, it makes up the other operating costs.
Okay,
So now what we're going to do is going to use these new numbers we found to help find the other operating costs for each division, to basically make it so it's no longer other operating costs, but there's specific costs allocated towards each division. So for example, key accounts, we're going to write this over here. What we're going to do or we'll make this smaller.
so is this question 3 now?
Yes.
Okay,
For key accounts, we're going to do, so I'm going to write key accounts. We're going to do 280, which is the number of orders processed, times, I think it's 40. Because that's the cost per order we found out in the last part. We're going to do plus 3920 times $3 plus 240 times 47.97 plus 72,000 times 1 plus 720 times $16. And you understand what we're doing here? So basically, we're taking the amount of activity that they've done for each activity, like the number of processes, number of orders, and multiplying it by how much it costs per order, per process, per delivery, per box, per recipe development, to more accurately find the cost for each division.
okay.
Are you sure you don't have any questions?
I think I understand that.
Okay. So I want you to do that for each division now.
So that what we just calculated there would be 53,192.8.
53,000.8.
192. Yes.
I think that's right. Let me double check. Just work on the next part.
Okay. So do the numbers in the parentheses always stay the same for these?
Yeah, because
Okay, like
that's
the
how much
40,
we
the
right?
3,
Like,
and
like the
yeah,
cost of the order is not gonna change by
yeah,
division. It's gonna be the same thing. Yeah,
okay.
it's gonna be constant. So you did the math for key accounts wrong.
I did?
Yeah,
How would I?
so be careful when you put, so, you can tell this is wrong immediately just by, simple,
Oh, I might have typed in
looking.
7,200.
Yeah, because 72,000 alone is already bigger
Yeah,
than,
yeah.
right?
Oh, I already erased it. Okay, let me type that in again. $117,992.8.
Yep,
Okay.
and let's do it for the other two. So I had to do it for multi-location and owner operated.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay,
I was
cool.
just getting the answer for that one. Okay, for the second one, I got 143,018.4.
143,000.
18.4.
Yep.
Okay. Let me do the last one. $341,140.
Yep. So awesome. Now we basically what we did was we separated the other operating costs So now we can allocate it towards each division. And now we can see, whether these divisions are actually profitable, are they actually doing as well as we thought? And question 4 or question 3 says, use the activity-based costing information to allocate the $602,160 of other operating costs to each of the 3 customer segments. Compute the operating income for each market segment. So what we're going to do is this number, all these numbers right here, this is the 602,160, the other operating costs.
Mhm.
But what we've done is we further broke it down so we can allocate it towards each division and find out if these divisions are truly profitable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this and make this smaller. Let's see. How are you feeling, by the way?
Just tired.
Are you like still feeling sick?
Not as much.
Okay, that's good. Put that there. Cool. So we are going to take our gross margins, which is, let's see what our gross margins are. So our gross margin for key accounts is 216,000, right?
Mhm.
This key accounts.
Yes. it's
And we're going to do
216,000.
216,000.
So this is question 4 now.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
question 3.
Oh, we're still on question 3. Okay.
And we're going to minus the $117,000 from it. And what do we get?
98,007.2.
98,007.2.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. And then we're going to take this number and divide it by the 7.416 million, like kind of like what we did last time.
.0132.
0.0132. And that is 1.32%. Okay. So I want you to do that for owner operated and key accounts, and I'll be doing it with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Activity-based costing is just a lot of number crunching. It's not like any hard division.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, a lot of number crunching.
.49% for multi-location.
Okay. Thanks. And then do owner operated now.
Yeah. .476%.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So basically, let's look at the numbers, the percentages now compared to the percentages before.
Okay.
So basically, I'm going to try and write this out, but basically, key accounts. So 2.91 went to 1.32. 4.76 went to 2.49. And 9.09 went to 0.476. And these are all percentages.
Okay.
So what can we see from this?
They all went down.
They all went down, yes, but this is to be expected, right? Because we're allocating the cost now towards each division. So naturally, if we're allocating more costs, they're going to go down in percentage, right? But what is there any specific observation on something which is kind of weird?
Well, the one that was at 9% went down to 0.47%.
Yeah, and that's the whole basis here, right? So now that we've accurately done our costing, we realized that, owner operated this division where we thought, we're making pretty good margins on, it's 9%. In reality, their margins are absolute shit. It's only 0.47%.
Yeah,
Right?
it's even
That's the whole
worse.
thing. That's the whole thing with ABC costing, trying to find if our margins are actually as good as we think. Okay,
Okay.
awesome. All right. So any questions about that?
So it says compute the operating income for each market segment. Is that a?
Oh,
So
so
that's
we
what we
already did
just-
that. That's this number right here.
Oh, okay. So we just did like an extra.
Yeah, so the percentages is kind of for part 4 when they're like, for part 4.
Oh,
they
and we
ask-
comment on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so for commenting the results, you'd have to divide to find a new percentages so you can compare them to the old gross margin percentages. So in reality, you kind of have to figure out by yourself to do the new percentages.
hmm
They're not going to tell you that, but you have to do it by yourself, find out those new percentages and compare them to your old percentages to find this new intriguing data.
Okay.
Yep. So now that we've done that, let's go to the quiz question. So let's go to quiz. It was quiz 4, right? I believe.
Quiz 4, chapter 5.
Okay, cool. And let's do the oil question, part 2, and then we'll try and do part 1 after.
Is it possible for you to send that to me as a PDF file? Because the Word doc is coming up weird on my iPad.
Yeah.
It just looks weird. Thank you. I'm just gonna fill my water bottle real quick.
There you go for it.
Okay, I'm back.
Cool. Let me know when
Yeah, I
you've
just got
read
it.
question 2 of the question 2 of
So problem 2,
yeah,
use the tech pin one.
yeah. So read
Okay.
that.
Okay.
All right, cool. So basically, what is, let's see. Um, So basically what's happening right now is right now for their overhead costs, they're only calculating the overhead by one cost driver, right? Which is, I think it's machine hours. So that's what we're gonna do in part 1. And then part 2, we're gonna calculate the overhead using 3 different cost drivers to make it more accurate. We're allocating our costs more effectively, and we're gonna compare results, see if profitability is different, and just comment on it. So it's a pretty simple question. So question 1, what is the profitability of the South Gas and North Oil accounts in 2019 calculated using a single cost driver, i.e. number of machine hours? So what we're going to do is, first of all, we have to subtract our main costs. So let's say, for example, we're doing South Gas and North Oil, right? So for South Gas, we are going to do, I'm lagging. Okay, there we go. South Gas. First, we're going to subtract the cost we can actually subtract. So in this case, it's going to be direct materials. So we're going to do 160,000 minus 64,000 because that's the cost of direct materials. And we're going to get 96,000. And we do that for North Oil as well. North
Okay.
Oil, it's going to be 160 minus 64 equals 96. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, cool. So now what we want to do is we want to basically now calculate the overhead costs, only using one cost driver, only one cost driver. So no ABC cost, just one cost driver, machine hours. So how do you think we would do that?
So machine hours is they're both 100. So would you do the 100 over the 96,000?
96,000.
Or 96,000 over.
$96,000 is profit, right?
Okay.
But the machine hours is related to costs, right? And I would, to give you a hint, look at the overhead costs and then think of something to do there.
The 6.45 million.
Divided by what?
Would it be divided by the 100?
But for the 100, that's only for one specific order, right? It's not for the entire company.
Divided by 200?
Well, that's only 2 orders. But
Oh.
there's tons of
Oh,
different
number of
companies.
orders. So there's a total of 31 orders.
Okay, that's kind of, so basically, there is two companies, right? And they have their own
Yeah,
little
yeah.
costs, right? But there's hundreds and hundreds of order, like hundreds and hundreds of different, like South Gas, North Oil. There's probably like a East Oil, East India.
Oh, like division. Okay.
Yeah, so there's hundreds of divisions, right? But it gives the totals in above.
Oh, the 10,000 machine hours
Exactly.
and the 1,000 orders.
Well, so we're only gonna look at machine hours because for part one, they only want us to use machine hours as a cost driver.
Okay, so would you divide the 6.45 million divided by 10,000?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So what is this for again? Like, what are we finding here?
We're trying to find the overhead costs for South Gas and North Oil. So we can divide it and we are going to get $645. And we need 96,000 minus 645 times 100. Because it's 100 machine hours for each one.
Mhm.
And what do we get?
96,000 minus 645 times 100. 31,500.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now looking at using one single cost driver, it looks like North Oil and South Gas are equally profitable, right?
Mhm.
But what if we use multiple cost drivers? What would happen?
They would be different.
Yeah, because the cost can be more accurately considered if you're taking account, a number of orders, number of custom products ordered, right?
Mhm.
Let's try that. Let's try that. So I'm gonna let you try and take the reins for this one. What do you think the steps will be to do that? Here. What would be the first step? And kind of think about what we did in the mini hawk question. It's very, very similar.
Okay. So we're finding overhead costs, but they're using different drivers. Okay.
Exactly. So
Um,
if you want, you look at the mini hawk question real quick, look at what we did there and try and apply that to what we're doing here. Okay.
okay. Would you use the number of orders as like a driver?
Yeah. So we're going to be using all these as drivers because they tell us
Okay.
they want us to use, let's see. They don't tell us specifically, but they give us 3 drivers. So we're just going to assume that, okay, we're going to use these 3 drivers now instead of 1.
Okay. So would it be kind of like when we did the so would you take the 100, like the 160,000 first in here of South Gas,
And do what?
and then multiply it by let's see, would it be multiplied by the 645?
Where you get 6? Oh, that's the old driver.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So sales, remember, keep sales separate from costs. When you're trying to divide, don't do sales divided by cost. You won't be dividing cost by cost, right?
So would we do the, I'm just kind of confused now.
Okay, so I'll give you a hint. So for the
Yeah.
first one, right, machine overhead. So we know the general manufacturing overhead is 3.6 million, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very ugly 3. Okay, there we go. And we divide it by the number of machine hours because that's the driver for general manufacturing overhead. So we divide it by 10,000 and we get, I believe it's $360. And you want to do that for each activity. So what we do for the next two?
Would you do the 1.35 million divided by 300?
Exactly. Yep. You get setup costs, you divide it by number of setups.
Okay, let me just write this down.
And what do we get from that?
Um, 4,500.
Yep. And do the last one.
Okay, let me just write these down. And 1.5 million divided by 1,000.
Yep.
$1,500.
Yep. So how do you think we find the cost for each division now? For each division. So we'll do South Gas first. How would we do South Gas?
So would we take the sales first? Do we use the sales for this?
Yep. Because
So
we're
the
trying to find profitability. So
Yeah. So would you take the 160,000 and multiply it by the 360 that we got?
well, this is cost. Remember, don't multiply cost by revenue, right?
Okay. So
Think about what we
160,000.
did in the other question, right? We took the revenue and we minus the cost away.
So 160,000 minus 360.
Well, 360 is a single hour. How many hours do we do?
Oh, 360 minus 360 times 100.
Yep. What
Okay.
else?
Minus would you do 64,000 next? Or you
Yeah,
had to multiply what?
64,000 is direct materials. So that's just like a cost by itself. We don't have to allocate it or anything weird. It's not an overhead cost. We only do this for overhead costs and like other operating costs for activity-based costing.
Okay. Minus 4,500 times. So the 4,500 times, is it 100 again, or is it the 3?
Well, think about what does 4,500 mean?
That's the setups cost, right?
Exactly. So which would you multiply by?
Oh, the number of setups.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so 300.
Well, that's total setups. We want to look by
Oh,
division.
so that'd be the number of orders.
Uh-huh.
So 3. Or is it both?
Yeah,
Is it?
that's correct.
Is it
Yeah.
6?
Or it'd be 3. It'd be 3 here.
It would be 3. You don't. Oh wait. Oh, one's custom orders. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So 4,500 times 3, and then you do minus
Oh,
1,500 times 3.
I think so. Basically, I think setup cost relates to number of custom products produced.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we minus what else?
1,500 times 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just write this down.
Okay.
60. Yeah, can you like just zoom out a little? Yeah, thank you. Okay, let me calculate that. Is that's done, right?
Well, there's one more thing. What do you
Oh,
think?
there is. I have no clue.
Okay, remember, whenever we do costs, right, we do, um, there's overhead costs, but there's also direct costs, right?
Hmm. Wait, so is it the 64,000?
Yeah,
Okay.
and what do we get?
Okay, let me plug that in. $42,000.
Yep. So they make $42,000. Now let's
Okay.
do North Oil. What would North Oil be?
So first you do the 160,000
Mm-hmm.
minus the where is it? Is it 360 again?
Yep. Remember the cost driver, the cost per unit never changes.
Okay,
As
so
in the
it'd be
main cost.
360 times 100 again,
Yep.
minus 4,500 times 28.
It'll be
Right.
the 22, the 22.
Oh, is the number? Oh, we didn't do it in order.
Yeah, they flip it. It's like,
Oh,
you made it extra
oops.
tricky.
Okay. Minus 1,500 times 28. And
Okay,
then minus 64,000.
and what do we get?
Okay. Plug it in again. Negative 81,000.
Yeah. So what do we learn here?
Well, North Oil is losing money.
Yes, and if we compare it to the old profits, what do we learn here? So the old profits, I think, was 34,500 each.
So you gained more money with South Gas and lost more with North Oil.
Yeah, so basically, when we look at our costs more accurately, we realize that North Oil, which was previously thought as profitable, is actually extremely unprofitable. It's a bad division.
Yeah.
And South Gas is more profitable. They're making more money if we account for the other cost drivers. So
Mhm.
we look down here and they're asking us, based on your responses to the question, suggest 2 actions that TechPen can implement to improve the profitability of its largest customers. And what I would say here is for each customer, we gotta be charging them for their custom products and for the setup costs and for the orders, right? So they're incurring more setup costs and incurring more orders. We have to be charging them for that. We can't just be saying, "Oh, you can have it for free," because that's what we're doing right now. We need to charge them because it's actually incurring a significant cost on us.
Mhm.
Because right now we're only charging based off of, or currently we're not accounting for that. Our profit model is not accounting for that, and we need to account for that in order to stay profitable for those divisions where they're incurring more custom products and more setup costs.
Okay.
And yeah, that's basically it. Do you get that?
Yeah, I get that.
Awesome.
We can
Okay.
probably do some more of this on our next session.
Okay, you want to call it quits?
Yeah, I'm tired.
All right, sounds like a plan. So I'm end this share.
Thank you.
Yep, and I don't know if you saw, but I emailed you the other two. So
Yeah.
you can watch those if you have questions on our previous session. So watch those.
Okay.
And then
How much do I owe you, by the way? Now, is it
125. Wait,
125?
let me think.
So
Let me think about it for a second. 1 hour.
we did about yesterday, we did
Yeah, 1.5. 1.5.
we
and
did
1.
1.5 hours yesterday,
Wait, what
I
time did we?
think.
Oh, we did 5:30 to 7. I remember now. And
Yeah.
then today we did an hour. Yeah, so it'd be 125. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. All right. So I'll see you tomorrow. Or do you want to do tomorrow? I forgot. I know you were busy Wednesday, but now you say you are free.
Yeah, I am free now.
So what time are you free?
Well, the meeting was supposed to be at like 5, but basically I'm free anytime now tomorrow. I'm not
Okay. Do you
held
want
back
to
by that.
do 420?
Sure.
Okay. So we'll do 420 to 550. That works.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. I'm gonna end this recording.